Hey guys, Britt here. Welcome to End Times Bible Prophecy. Make sure to hit the subscribe, like, share, and restack buttons. And if you're on YouTube, you might want to check and make sure you're still subscribed. Because as we've mentioned in the past, they like to just unsubscribe people from some of the channels that they don't like. So you might be surprised if you think you're subscribed to find out you aren't. So go back and double check that if that's the case. Well, what are we talking about today? Well, the title of today's video is, "This doesn't signal the last days, then what does?" And I have no idea what would, if not what we're going to look at today. So what am I talking about? Well, I'm talking about, to start with, this right here. So this is from The New Scientist. It's titled, "Smiling Robot Face is Made from Living Human Skin Cells." And just to give you a warning, this is a little creepy. We'll explain what we're looking at in just a moment. It says a technique for attaching a skin made from living human cells to a robotic framework could give robots the ability to emote and communicate better. And here we see a picture of this. Keep in mind, these eyes aren't real biological eyes. There's a robot interface, but this is real. These are real skin cells that are placed over top of this. It says a smiling face made from living human skin could one day be attached to a humanoid robot, allowing machines to emote and communicate in a more lifelike way, say researchers. Its wrinkles could also prove useful for the cosmetics industry. The living tissue is a cultured mix of human skin cells grown in a collagen scaffold and placed on top of a 3D printed resin base. Unlike previous experiments, the skin also contains the equivalent of ligaments that in humans and other animals are buried in the layer of tissue beneath the skin, holding it in place and giving it incredible strength and flexibility. And I'll put a link to this article. You can go read this. You can go watch this video. Again, it's kind of creepy. I pointed out it's really just the latest signpost in a world where the lines between human and machine are blurring. And let's take a look at this article, which I think it fits that even more so. This is titled, "Brain Power, Swiss Startup Powers Computers with Mini Human Brains." So we're seeing the merging of what we would typically think of as Silicon Valley computer, that world, with the biological, which is going to lead to the merging of human beings with technology, which is something we've been talking about for quite some time. This is what we're seeing happen here. So this says Swiss tech startup Final Spark is now selling access to biocomputers that combine up to 4 tiny lab-grown human brains with silicon chips. This new product, called the Neuro Platform, uses small versions of human brains to do computer work instead of silicon chips. The company says it can fit 16 of these mini brains onto the Neuro Platform and use a fraction of the energy required to power a traditional setup. And that's one of the keys here, guys, that we'll talk about in just a moment. It's why this is going to proliferate in a big way. They're going to keep going down this road. It says the platform, currently adopted by 9 institutions, integrates hardware, software, and biology to create a processing system that is energy efficient and high performing. Final Spark's founders, Fred Jordan and Martin Cutter, hope to harness the human brain's compatibility with silicon chips to make a greener future in the tech industry. Potentially, computing may ultimately become an activity with no ecological footprint, Jordan said. We scroll down, they say the lab is available to researchers 24/7, uses real human neurons, and uses the Python programming language, creating, quote, a dream bridge between biology and data scientists, according to Jordan. Guys, again, we're seeing this merging of human beings and technology that we've been talking about for many years. It goes on, it says the Neuro platform operates using a wetware architecture which blends hardware, software, and organic biology. And here's the key. It says while the human brain only needs 20 watts of power or 20 watts to power its 86 billion neurons, achieving the same efficiency with silicon would require 10 megawatts of power, according to the Final Spark website. The efficiency of NeuroPlatform's system becomes especially relevant as artificial intelligence continues to grow. We've talked about this here on this channel. I'm sure you've read this in news articles as well, that all of the data center computing power to power AI and the growth in technology that we're seeing is eating up more and more and more energy. And it can't continue on at the rate it's going, or all the energy that we need for many other things will be completely usurped by AI. But what this is saying is, what if the AI becomes more efficient and doesn't need all that energy? That's why they're going to continue pushing the boundaries of this research. It says training large models like GPT-4 needs a lot of energy, as much as 6,000 times the energy a European citizen uses in a year. The Neuro platform is a bioprocessing platform, or a type of device designed to carry out biological processes to produce or modify substances. Bioprocessing can involve various biological sources and produce a wide range of products. For example, brewing beer is considered a bioprocess. In the case of the Neuro platform, the bioprocess involves deriving energy from the brain organoids, a biological source. Bioprocessors use very little energy, roughly equivalent to that of a light bulb. This efficiency could make advanced computing more accessible while significantly reducing its carbon footprint. And again, there is no carbon-induced climate destruction. But energy is the lifeblood of the economy. There's a direct correlation between energy and economic activity. It's essential to life on Earth. And so to reduce the energy footprint of advanced computing using this is why they're going to be pushing this. It says, although your laptop might not be powered by a human brain organoid anytime soon, the technology can be used to power even larger versions of AI systems like ChatGPT. However, the current challenge for the project is the lifespan of the organoids. While silicon chips used in processors can last for decades, brain organoids are estimated to survive for a maximum of 100 days. So there's still a lot of issues that they're going to work out using this, but they will, and AI will help work out some of those issues so that they can roll this out on a mass scale. And of course, you may be saying, well, this is creepy. What does this mean? And they go and they address some of that. It says Shinya Yamanaka won the Nobel Prize in 2012 for discovering induced pluripotent stem cells, which can transform mature cells into versatile ones without ethical issues. What that basically means is, I'm sure you've heard over the years the controversy over researchers using stem cells. And the reason is because those stem cells, which are early cells that can basically transform themselves into other types of cells, those are taken and have been taken from aborted babies. And so here, what they're saying is she has learned a way to take a mature cell, so you could take your own mature cell and transform that into basically your own, a new stem cell without having to use aborted babies. It says this breakthrough enabled personalized stem cells for studying diseases and advancing regenerative medicine, Although Final Spark stresses that these organoids lack sentience, the ethical discourse on utilizing living cells for computing remains ongoing. It remains that neurons are probably the most intimate cells for us as thinking creatures, Jordan said. It's clear that technology is always pushing the frontiers, and we as scientists need the help of ethicists and philosophers to think about the implications. What you need is a biblical worldview, I would say, and then you would know what the implications are. All right, guys, I believe this is a sign of the last days. It's a signal. It's a signpost. Yeah, we're there. We have all the other signs that Jesus and the prophets said to look for. And I believe this is one that Jesus alluded to. And we'll look at that right here in this piece right here. So I want to turn to Racing Toward Armageddon, Why Advanced Technology Signals the End Times. Again, this is a book I wrote back in 2017. It addresses this very subject. So I want to turn to this excerpt from chapter 5, titled, No Flesh Will Survive. It says, when the disciples met with Jesus on the Mount of Olives and asked him to describe the signs of his coming and the end of the age, Jesus told them what to look for. Then he said, unless those days are shortened, no flesh will survive. That's in Matthew 24, verse 22. What did Jesus mean when he said this? The traditional interpretation is this: humanity will bring itself to the brink of destruction in a cataclysmic world war. Then the world will avoid total destruction when Jesus suddenly appears and stops the madness. So this is going to occur at the end of the 7-year tribulation, is the appearance of Jesus that we're referring to. But is this what the Bible says? No, the Bible tells us the true reason for Armageddon, and it's not nuclear war, comets, asteroids, or any other Hollywood-produced end-of-the-world story. Armageddon is the armies of the world gathering to attack Jesus, the Lord of Heaven's armies. Go read Revelation 19:19 if you don't believe me. That's exactly what it says. To do this, people in the end times will have to be much more powerful than the people of past generations, and they will be. They'll be proud and arrogant. Nothing will be impossible for them. That's from Genesis chapter 11, verse 6. That's what God said in relation to the Tower of Babel and why he broke people up into different languages. So it says, could it be that in a quest for immortality, they'll shed their fragile flesh and bone bodies in exchange for new ones? So again, this may sound outrageous to some, and trust me, it really sounded outrageous when I was writing this 20 years ago. But what do we hear now? The transhumanists are pushing this exact same thing. If you watch anything with Yuval Noah Harari or any of the other transhumanists, they'll tell you this is what they foresee, where they believe in monkeys demand evolution. And the next step in that evolutionary process they believe in is the merging of human beings with technology to create what's called posthumans. Or another way might be saying superhumans. And about 90 years ago, there was somebody else pushing superhumans. It's going to end the same way, guys. This ideology, and that's what it is, this religion, it's a false religion. But that's what they're pushing. That's where we're going. And that's what these technologies, these stories we just read, are telling us is coming. It says, remember, Jesus didn't say unless those days are shortened, no one will survive. He said no flesh will survive. The key word in this passage is the Greek word sarx. It doesn't mean people. It means flesh or animal meat. It refers to the external body and not necessarily an entire body with a soul. So taken in its original context, it's more accurate to say no flesh will survive than to say no one or no people will survive. Think this is just semantics? Maybe. But what if transhumanists succeed in their quest to create a race of posthumans who no longer need human bodies to survive? If that happens, the words of Jesus take on a whole new meaning. Does all this sound like fantasy? I'll admit it's hard to accept the idea of humans creating new bodies. It sounds like science fiction, and it's hard to imagine this is what Jesus meant when he said no flesh will survive. But our thoughts are limited. They are not God's thoughts. Remember, Daniel was given a vision of the end times. What he saw didn't resemble the ancient world in any way. He openly stated he couldn't understand what he had seen. Why should it be any different for you and me? Guys, there's things coming we don't fully understand yet, but we should be listening to what people are telling us, what the people in Silicon Valley, all the people that subscribe to this transhumanist philosophy, what they say they're working toward, what they want to attain. What we're seeing happen when we read these articles about a computer interface, a robot interface being fixated living skin cells so that it can emote, or a robot can emote and communicate better. When we see living cells merged with Silicon Valley type computing technology and advanced computing, so they'll use less energy, making it more viable. And again, all this is serving to merge. It's not necessarily all going from a human being like Elon Musk saying, well, I'm making these brain chips for the paralyzed, and I'm going to get one too, right? Right? How many times have we said that? You think, well, he's not paralyzed. Oh, he's making them for the blind, but he's not blind. But what he's saying is he wants to augment his existing body with technology. And on the other end, we see the technology being augmented with biological living cells. And so these two will converge and create this era of transhumanism that they're all pushing. And guys, that's, to me, a sign of the times in which we live, because we're fast approaching that time when the end times world will adopt this philosophy. Man will merge with machine. We could approach a point where no flesh would survive. Is that what Jesus meant? I don't know. Time will tell. But guys, it's no doubt that this is pointing out the significance of the times in which we live. Jesus and the prophets pointed to a number of signs that we see all around us, and Jesus said, when you see those signs coming together, when you see all these things begin to happen, know that I'm right at the door, I'm near, I'm right there, I'm coming back. Guys, all of this should tell us how close we are to the return of Jesus, to the tribulation period. So keep in mind, there's the return of Jesus for the church, the rapture of the church. I believe the Bible teaches clearly that occurs before the tribulation period. Then there will be a 7-year tribulation and the second coming of Jesus at the end of that 7-year tribulation to establish his millennial kingdom. So all of this just points to me to how close we are to those times. So what do you think? Leave your comments below. While we're talking, make sure to go, even if you are subscribed to the Substack at brittgillette.substack.com, I want you to go check out the Notes tab, because this is the stories we just went over. I think I found those stories maybe 2 weeks ago, but as the news cycle changes and some things get bumped up, I can't talk about them at the time I want to talk about them. Then I end up sometimes not even talking about certain things at all. But if you come here in the notes, what I will do is post articles that I'm reading, videos that I'm watching, thoughts that I'm having that are just short form thoughts. Maybe it's not a full article, but you can come here and you can read what I'm thinking, what I'm watching, that won't make it into all of these videos. So make sure that you go over to the Substack, brittgillette.substack.com, click on the Notes tab up at the top, and you can read all about that. You can interact, you can comment, you can like and share, you can go find it. There's a whole bunch of amazing stuff on Substack and other sites that you might want to check out. So just drop on by, check that out, leave your comments. Leave your comments below, whatever platform you're watching on. And make sure to hit the like, share, subscribe, restack buttons. When you do that, more people see this, and then they hear the good news about Jesus Christ, because we share that often on all these videos. So leave your comments, and God willing, I will see you next time. Bye. If you want to learn more about the end times and Bible prophecy, make sure to visit my Substack at brittgillette.substack.com. There you'll find my latest videos and articles, as well as notes, where I share the latest news headlines, the articles I'm reading, and the videos I'm watching. Subscribe for free, and each new post on Substack will be sent directly to your email. Just scroll to the bottom of the homepage and hit the subscribe button. As an added bonus, your first welcome email will include a link to a copy of my free ebook, 7 Signs of the End Times. Also, make sure to check out all of my books. Just look up Britt Gillette on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Apple iBooks, Google Books, Kobo, or anywhere books are sold. Thanks for watching today, and until next time, keep your eyes fixed on Jesus, the author and perfecter of our faith.